Hi, everybody. I just wanted to go through a few tips for editing hyperdocs with Google presentations. So for this activity, we're looking at food chains and food webs and how energy moves between different organisms, since we depend on food for energy. So what I'd like you to do to begin is to watch this video here on food webs and energy pyramids, and then use that information to complete the hyperdoc below. And then here's some tips for editing hyperdocs. So first we're going to jump to slide 2. It says for the food chain below, so that's here, please draw 3 arrows to represent the correct direction of energy flow. Then use this food chain to answer the questions below. So you'll use this to answer the rest of the questions. So now time for drawing some arrows. When looking, all right, we're going to look for this line right here, and then you can select the line. And you can see there's lots of different options for arrows and scribble lines and straight lines right there. Now, if you can't find this or any of the other options in this toolbar up here, then you'll need to find the 3 dots and go over here and select more. So when you have less options showing, if you select these 3 dots, these should pop up. All right, so if you can't find anything that I'm showing you, just make sure you look for those 3 dots. So if you go to the 3 dots, you find the select a line. All right, and here I'm just gonna pick arrow, and then here you can draw an arrow, right there. And there's some things you can do with it. You can change the color, which is fun. I like colors that stand out so they're easier to read, whichever color you prefer. That's easy to see. Here you can select the thickness. Again, make it thicker with these, where it's called line weight. You can see that there. Here you can use like dots or dashes, but when we're doing food webs, we like straight lines or continuous lines. All right, you can see there. And then, here we go, back to select a line. So now if I want to, let's maybe change the arrow tip or the edge. I click on that line again, and now you can see I have these options pop up. So here you can change like the direction of the arrow you want. You can change the arrow tip, kind of depending on how you like it. So I'm going to go, here, and then you can move your arrow wherever you need to go and point it to whichever direction you need by kind of clicking on those and moving it around. And then you can kind of, again, use that arrow to represent how energy flows in this food chain. So that's your first slide. Here, it just asks you to highlight. So looking through these words here, highlight everything that kind of applies to that. And to highlight, I'm just going to select the word I want to highlight. And then I'm going to go up here and find my highlighter function, which is right there. So you can see it says highlight color. And again, if you can't find it, find your 3 dots, and then that should show up. And then just pick a color where it stands out and you can read it. So for number 2 and number 3, it's asking you to highlight the terms that go along with that there. Oops, I didn't mean letter color. See, little mistake, just that highlighter function. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. That stands out. Okay, moving down to slide 4. This is asking you to do an energy pyramid. And so you want to draw the energy pyramid, and you can add your lines here. You can add images if you want. So you can search the computer, look in your drive, search the web for certain images. Do it that way. And then you're going to drag these labels, first trophic level, second trophic, third level, where appropriate. All right, so kind of work on that energy pyramid there. Here you just type in the answer there for number 5. And number 6, where you see the box, again, this is where you're going to, where you see a box here, you'll have a written answer. Go ahead, fill that in. Same here. You have your text box here that I'd like you to fill in. Here's another highlight. Here we go on slide 7 for number 9. It's a food web. So now you're going to be drawing arrows that represent the correct direction of flow. So using that line selector feature again, and if you don't want to use a straight line, you can also use a scribble. And you can put an arrow on the scribble. So once I select the line, then I can get these kind of arrow tips that kind of can point. And again, I can change the thickness and the color, however I want it to go. And then lastly, it's just going to have you read this scenario here about this particular food web, and then kind of fill in your predictions about what would happen to each one of these. The frogs kind of filled in for you, so then you make predictions about grasshoppers, snakes, and producers. All right, so that's how I would like you to work on this hyperdoc for today. Please email me if you have any questions, and I will try to get to them as soon as possible. Have a good one. See ya.